Alright, the new Nirvana ride line is here, and my fears have kinda came true with Xover-Dress being obsolete because of the new ride line. So let's begin. But first, cards for the last few days, and that includes the Dokkan stream. First off, here are some good promos that I am not gonna go over because I'm too lazy to go over all of them. But this Blaze Maiden one, which is the first one, lets you mill a Trick Star or Trick Moon on place if you have 2 or more Blaze Maidens, which itself counts as one along with Bavsargra, for example. So if you use it Bavsargra, you got it consistently. Nirvana is a different story, but for Bavsargra, pretty consistent, and you do want the Trick Moon in the drop zone. And then the other 2 are Cross Epic Ride Line cards, which are orders, and one of them is for Chaos, and Chaos is pretty good with it. But for the Aurora deck, the Stokeia order card is really needed for that deck, and it's really good for it, and I would suggest you run it, but it's a promo, and that's why I don't like this idea. And then to a Sorceress double rare, a Akore Sorceress, which is a grade 2 with tanky power, and the skill is auto when placed on rearguard. If your Sorceress Vanguard is at least grade 3, cost counterblast 1, look at top 2 cards of the deck, choose up to 2 from among them, and add to your hand. Put the remaining cards to the top. If you added 2 or more cards to your hand, choose a card from your hand and put it to the bottom of the deck. Not bad for cycling, and in many ways it's a +1. So I'll take it. But the second skill, Auto Rearguard. When this card attacks, if Persona Ride this turn during your turn, plus 5k. This skill doesn't really matter, it's just the first one. But Persona Ride is very important to the deck, so it will be relevant. Next, for a Dark Stage triple rare, Direfold Doll Amadine. Grade 1 AK power and skills. Count rearguard during turn if you have 10 or more cards in soul plus 10k. Dark Stage is about soul charging, so getting the 10 soul shouldn't be that hard depending on what deck, but certain decks do soul blast, so just keep that in mind. But the second skill, act rearguard once per turn, cost counterblast 1 during that turn. If you soul charge by card ability, you can do 1 additional soul charge. Double your soul charge, why not? Just do be careful with this skill because that can still deck you out, but overall pretty decent generic card. And now to regular card of the day. With Youthberg support, we first got a double rare, Decisive Axe Dragon, grade 3, 13 power, and its skills. Count rearguard during the battle of this card tag. If your Vanguard has been ridden by a card ability this turn, Xover-Dress, your opponent cannot call normal units from their hand to the Guardian Circle. It's an okay skill that can work decent with Xover-Dress, although I really doubt you're gonna have the room for it. And then for Premium's case, there's always Luard and all that stuff. Or you could go Raging Form Dragon. But overall, it's an okay card, I really doubt you're gonna run it. Next, for an order card, Deployment Towards Daybreak, grade 1, normal order, and its skill is that you play it by counterblasting 1. You look at top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 rebel form from among them and add to your hand. Or you choose 1 grade 1 or lower card from among them and call it to rearguard and then shuffle your deck. Just another consistency searcher for Youthberg, so if you miss, you can call something if you do get something out of there. And so far with 2 rebel forms, and those rebel forms are very necessary for Youthberg, you might need all the consistency search that you can get. In some cases, I do prefer the one that searches Zest directly because it searches a rebel form card directly, and that's what you want to perform. But it's up to player preferences. And now for Stokeia double rare, Assemble of Smiles Emily, grade 1, AK power and skills. Auto rearguard, when this card boosts, if you have another grade 1 or lower rearguard, this card gets plus 2k power for that battle. If it boosts a grade 3 or greater Vanguard, cost counterblast 1, soul blast 1, draw a card. Condition is easy, and also it's pretty generic, but for Leonord, you're guaranteed to boost the Vanguard. So this one is kind of guaranteed no matter where you put it for Leonord when it comes to the back row, but it is generic that you could pretty much just use it in any deck if you wish. And then to Dark States, our first card is a double rare Term Fracture Dragon, which is a grade 2 with tanky power, and the skill is auto rearguard. When this card attack hits a Vanguard, draw a card. If you drew, choose a card from your hand and put it to soul. Attack, hit to get something, forget about it, and it's a double rare. And then to a very good Desire Devil card, Desire Devil Kyosuke, grade 1 AK power and skills. Auto, when put to soul by your Vanguard's ability of Avatarius Demonic Dragon Greedon, if you do not countercharge this turn, countercharge 1. Greedon has been really needed in countercharge, so this is definitely going to help. But the second skill, Auto Soul. When your rearguard is placed by card ability this turn, if your Vanguard is Greedon and your damage zone has 4 or more cards, that called unit gets plus extra 5k power until the end of turn. AKA use Bubetsu to use its superior call ability. And then there's more other superior call cards that you can use, but it's mainly Bubetsu because that one can mid-battle call. So very necessary card for Greedon because it helps you with countercharge, and that's what it really needs right now. And now for the Tuesday stream. First off, we got a Brandgate card, Carnado Dragon Nuvoria. Grade 3, 13 power and skills. Auto Rearguard, when this card attacks, this card gives us 2k power for each world card in your order zone. Pretty decent, especially if you use Xover-Dress on your first grade 3 turn. That's 3 world cards, so that would be plus 6k, making it 19k. Boosting it with a Shadow Army usually would be 34. So not bad, but the second skill is the main one, where Auto, when retired from Rearguard, if your world is Abyssal Dark Knight, you may call a Shadow Army token to Rearguard. And yes, that includes calling over it. So on your very first grade 3 turn with Xover-Dress, you can possibly get 5 attacks out of this. So overall, it's a really good pressure card to run with Xover-Dress. And now to the new Nirvana ride line. Here's the starter, surprise egg, whatever, moving on. Next to Heart Pounding Blaze Maiden Reno. Grade 1 8 power and skills. Auto, when rolled upon by Snuggling Blaze Maiden Ryu, search your deck for 1 Trickstar and call it to Rearguard, and then of course shuffle your deck. So basically just like the original, just with the new forms. And then second skill, count Rearguard during turn. If you have a Prayer Dragon in the same column as this unit, that's a new race by the way, this card gives us 5k power. That's a whatever, most of the new ride lights kind of have this type of skill. And then to Snuggling Blaze Maiden Ryu, which is a grade 2 with tanky power, with the skill of Auto, when rode upon by Chakrabarthi Phoenix Dragon Nirvana Jheva, look at top 7 cards of your deck, choose 1 Prayer Dragon from among them, reveal it, and put it to your hand, and of course shuffle your deck. And then the second skill is the same as the grade 1. So just another setup card of course, except that unlike the original where it searches for your Verena with a cost, this one is free with some RNG. And those Prayer Dragons will be very important for your crossover dress. And now to Chakrabarthi Phoenix Dragon Nirvana Jheva, which is a grade 3 with 13 power and skills. Act Vanguard. Once per turn, discard a card from your hand, choose 1 Trickstar and up to 1 Prayer Dragon from your drop zone and call them to Rearguard. So basically better than the original Nirvana, except that this one is just a little more specific, but either way, you want to call Trickstar anyway with the original Nirvana. Okay. But anyway, second skill. Auto Vanguard. When this card attacks, count boss 1, choose one of your Rearguards and Xover-Dress state and stand it. And there's the thing I was fearing about. Because it says Xover-Dress state, it makes the overdress mechanic for this card kind of irrelevant. With the Trickstar part, it's fine, but since it says Xover-Dress state for the second skill, kinda no reason to run regular overdress now with this new Nirvana, and I was really hoping this wasn't gonna happen. I get the idea that this is supposed to be a new evolved deck, but I see the ZTB situation again now. Moving on to a Prayer Dragon, Sword Equipped Dragon, Golo Knight. Grade 2 tank power and skills. Auto, when this card becomes an overdress, choose one of your outer dressed units. Until the end of the turn, it gets plus 5k power. And if that outer dressed unit is Jeweled Sword Equipped Godroot Verena, the card gets additional 5k. The outer dress unit is basically the crossover dress unit. That's really all it is. So basically these Prayer Dragons do absolutely nothing until you perform the crossover dress, which will be shown how to be performed later. In which we go to the revealed card of the anime, Jeweled Sword Equipped Godroot Verena, which is a grade 2 with 10k power and the skill is you Xover-Dress it with Trickstar with 1 Prayer Dragon. Don't worry, that will be explained. The skill is count Rearguard. If this card is in Xover-Dress state, this card gets plus 10k power, and for the battle that this unit attacked, your opponent cannot call cards from their hand to the Guardian Circle unless they call 2 or more at the same time, and active on your opponent's turn as well. So permanent 20k that gets Battle Dora. Okay, that's not bad. It could even make a decent finisher. Now how do you perform Xover-Dress? Basically you put your 2 designated Rearguards to a Rearguard circle that you really want to, and then you place the Xover-Dress unit like you're going to normal call it on top of the 2 stacked units. So basically it's like regular overdress, except you're going to do it on 2 units instead of 1. Although you could move those 2 units any circle that you want to perform the Xover-Dress, unlike regular overdress where it just has to be on top of Trickstar with that 1 circle, but not like that's really gonna matter. Next, for a Prayer Dragon that has not been used in the anime, Flash Equipped Dragon Brahmarda. Grade 1, 80 power and skills. Auto, when this card becomes an original dress, cost boss 1, draw 2 cards, choose a card from your hand and discard it. Very necessary draw engine here, so you're gonna definitely run this at 4 of. Finally, to the new Verena that has not been shown at the anime, Brilliant Equipped Brown Verena. You Xover-Dress it with Trickstar with a Prayer Dragon, and the skill is count Rearguard during your turn. If this unit is in Xover-Dress state, plus 10k, and if your opponent's Vanguard is greater or greater, plus another 10k. 33k beater on its own, not too bad. But the second skill, Auto Rearguard. Once per turn, when this card attack hits a Vanguard, if this unit is in Xover-Dress state, cost Soul Blast 1, choose a column and then retire all your opponent's rear guards in that column. 33k with attack hit pressure. Sounds similar to Valiente in a way where it's a grade 3 with attack hit pressure skill. But anyway, this does work pretty decent early game, while Garuvarina works better in the late game to finish off your opponent. And it's nice that they have another Xover-Dress unit for the deck because I was really worried that they were only going to have one in the first set. So getting another one can be very nice. On top of that being a big beater that can restand thanks to Nirvana Jheva, that's also really good. So that's it for these reveals. What do you guys think about the new Nirvana ride line along with the new Xover-Dress mechanic with the units? As much as I like the idea of Overdress evolving to Xover-Dress, I don't like the idea that it's a completely new deck now, making the Overdress mechanic kind of irrelevant. Yes, you can use the old Overdress cards with the new Xover-Dress cards with the new Nirvana, just to have some more options, but you're not going to really have the room for that, are you, when you have to run the Prayer Dragons as well? It's just like the transition from regular Time Leap to ZTB all over again. But oh well. But so far, nothing really super amazing, of course, because this is an introduction to the deck, of course. So introduction of the deck usually doesn't really have too much crazy stuff until the next set usually. But what we have so far is pretty nice. But in that's it for this, and see you all next time.